What's up, North City? Welcome to another episode of Man Van Moments with JD. I think that's what I called the last one of these that I did in my van. What's up? Hey, I just wanted to take a moment and capture some of what we're learning, what we're noticing from what last May we called this summer experiment in being a table-centered church. You guys, I am so pumped about this right now. I'm so pumped about what we're doing. I would love to hear how you are experiencing this expression. That here's something that might be clarifying for you. Internally, I call it dinner church. Externally, so when I talk to neighbors and friends about it, I call it community dinner, because that's just a little bit more accessible and invitational. There's a lot of baggage around the word church, and they associate a lot of things that we aren't with that word. But I'm so stoked about this. I wish I could share with you, I'm trying to remember exactly, but on average, we've done 3 of these fully. On average, we've had 11 new people. Average 11 new people. Just rough numbers, I think that's almost as many new visitors, new people, as we may have had for 6 months or the previous 6 months in 3 times. Last dinner church we had, I think after the counting was all done, between people who were there the whole time and people who we just served food, we topped 70 people, which was, it's just amazing. It's awesome. It's really hard not to look at what's going on and say, hey, I think we are finding ourselves on a bit of a wave of a movement of God. God's up to something with this. So I'm stoked about it. I would be really intrigued to hear what your experience has been. Some of you have told me stories, really cool stories. Connie told me a story the other day where before the dinner church, she went around and saw someone just sitting by themselves, playing with the kid, struck up conversation, and found out that she was a neighbor who didn't live there, but her parents lived there, and she was visiting. They're elderly. And she was there to help them sort of sort out the best living situation for them. And Connie was able to tell them about Sanctuary, where she lives, and the assisted living that's accessible there. And the neighbor was just like, this is amazing. It's awesome to hear this. And that neighbor, I think her name was Katie, Connie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, actually then exchanged numbers with Connie, set up a time to walk through Sanctuary and one other one before she went home to where she's from. And Connie just called me elated, hey, that's what we're there for. We're there to love our neighbors, random people who are sitting in the park, and connect them with true, real needs that are really important to them in their life. And Connie was there. God was up to something, and that. So there's been stories like that. People coming back to church for the first time in a long time. It's really cool. A lot of stories like that. One more I'll just throw at you is this is really cool, and it's an iteration of this has happened a couple times already, where people come and say, this is the church this is the kind of church, or the way of doing church that I have been looking for. One of you brought a friend last time, and I also brought some friends last time, and those friends were talking to each other, and one of the friends said to the other person talking, who was there, both of them were there for the first time, and one of them said, hey, just assuming that the other had been to North City before and had been there for a while, and he said, hey, is North City Church your home? This dude had only been there one time, and he just looks around and he goes, yep, I think so. And I just love that. It's really amazing. I think this past Sunday we had 16 new people, between the people who were friends of ours that we invited, guy from the neighborhood who just walked up, who was walking his dog and ended up staying for the whole dinner. His name is Joseph. He's lived in the neighborhood 35 years. He was like, man, this is great. I have not seen anything like this. And it was just so encouraging, was helping us tear down and afterwards, and stayed for a really long time and chatted. So just wanted to capture some of this. It's really awesome. I know you guys are following this. I would say just look out for our communications, because we're at about a little over the midway point, or about the midway point of this experiment this summer. And we're just trying to really dig deep and pay attention to, okay, this is awesome, this is fun. Certainly it has some of its tensions. You guys have experienced that, or like we're still learning a lot about what it means to actually embody this way of being the church. So we still got a lot to learn, and I'm sure there's some hard things up ahead. But we're trying to pay deep attention to what this summer means for what North City becomes in the future, or what part of this experiment is lasting for us. So be on the lookout. I'm going to try to create some way for you guys to express that, give constructive feedback, maybe in the form of a survey. Our Table Church Task Force has been talking about that, so be on the lookout for that. Also, just want you to mark your calendars for August 15th, which is normally a microchurch Sunday for us, but I want us to kind of set it apart as all church meeting, where that's about the time in our summer where we'll have some decisions that have been made about what church is going to look like for North City in the fall, and what we're going to launch into. Back in May, we said, hey, what can we do for the next 3 to 6 months that will set us up for who we are becoming, who we feel like God's asking us to be in 3 to 6 years. And we are about 2.5 months into from when we said that, almost 3 months into that. So we know some stuff, and we're going to make some calls about calls to what we can do to launch us towards who we feel like God's calling us to be in 3 to 6 years. So if you're around the 15th, or if you're setting your schedule, please try to be around the 15th so that you can participate in that conversation, hear the vision and the details behind that. Really, my hope is for me to be able to sit down sort of for a longer period of time and communicate, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, here's how we got here based on what you all have been discerning God has been leading us. So great stuff. Just wanted to give an update. Let me know how you're experiencing dinner churches. We got micro churches this Sunday. Hope you can jump into one of those as well. Thus concludes the Man Band Moment number 2. Later.